she needed to pay 250 a month, but she got to pay an additional 250 a month. And in
Right.
doing that, it puts like the cash on steroids. She'll put in $300,000 all the way up to age 65, and that $300,000 turns into 4.1 million.
Wendy's special power is giving the middle finger to debt. So we are here with Wendy, the financial lion. And Wendy has actually dedicated her career to helping others avoid life's unexpected pitfalls. She actually lost her 24-year-old husband in a motorcycle accident. And as she says, there are no do-overs in life. And that's why she's on a mission to ensure that others are prepared to face life's unexpected twists with grace, security, while building a robust financial future on a solid foundation. Now, what I'm really excited about is that Wendy's special power is giving the middle finger to debt. So that's what I want to dive deeper into. So, Wendy, how did you get into finance? Let's start there.
Well, you know what? I actually got asked to be in this industry. I used to be in the field of natural health, and I'm a nutritionist. But if people were stressed out about their money, which definitely affects your health, I thought that if I can get people calm and relaxed and confident about their finances, I am still
Hmm,
impacting thetheir health in a positive way. And not only
100%.
their health, but their relationships, their marriages. So it just kind of morphed from one thing into another.
That's awesome. Are you still helping people with their nutrition?
I do. I don't do it professionally. I do it just if I have information. For example, I think we were on a in a meeting last week and somebody had cancer and so on and so forth. So I'm happy to share what I know, but I don't do it professionally anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But
Beautiful.
there's a lot. It's just like anything. You don't know what you don't know, right? And what
Right.
you don't know can and will hurt you. So um, there's a I don't know how controversial you want to get, but
Let's get very
I was at
controversial.
okay. Well, I was at the drugstore the other day and they were asking me if I wanted vaccines, this vaccine and that vaccine. And I said, are you still offering the COVID vaccine? And she said, yeah. And I said, even after 17 million people have died worldwide, you're
Right.
still offering that vaccine. And she said, 17 million people have died worldwide. I didn't know that. It's like, you need to change your channel. Whatever news you're watching, they're not telling you the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people are uh, have come out talking about the side effects that they're experiencing now because of it. Um,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, it's downright, it's diabolical. There, there is, I think it's in the mRNA vaccine, but it increases the risk of fast-growing cancer by
Mhm.
over 153,000%.
Mhm.
So much so that you could take a long airplane flight, say from New York to San Francisco, and because of the radiation in the plane, you could actually end up with cancer by the end of your flight. That's how bad it is.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
That's crazy.
You know, I actually saw a woman driving her car yesterday with a mask on. Still, if you can believe it, right?
Oh my
But
gosh.
but anyway, let's talk about finance and debt.
Okay.
And
Okay.
what is the number one people, the number one, actually, let's backtrack a bit. Who do you generally work with? Who do you generally help with their finances?
Well, I love to work with people, homeowners in their 30s, 40s, 50s, maybe even 60s that have a mortgage that, as I said, I can show them how to pay that off in a very short amount of time rather than
Mm-hmm.
30 years. Banks trap for us. But I also love to work with, I love to do retirement income planning as well. So, um, as if somebody needs 10,000 a month in income, I can find them 17. And that
Mm-hmm.
said, I love to work with young people who are starting out because, well, I'll give you come to me. And she said, Wendy, you came highly recommended. I'm not going to shop you, just whatever you recommend. That's what I'm going to do.
Right.
And so she's a business owner. So whenever I put something in someone's life, I want it to withstand the test of time. If life takes a left turn, I don't want what we've put in place to go by the wayside. So she decided we ran a number of scenarios from, 250 a month up to 1,000 a month, and she was comfortable with 500 a month. And the way that I wrote the policy, it was a whole life insurance policy, was that she needed to pay 250 a month, but she got to pay an additional 250 a month. And in
Right.
doing that, it puts like the cash on steroids. The cash just grows.
Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying the episode. And I just wanted to let you know that if you're making more than six figures and you want to collapse time between where you are right now and your goals, you want to scale your business with a lot more freedom, a lot more fun, a lot more joy from this experience. And like I mentioned, do it faster. I have something that will help. Just like I did my clients. For example, Yoshwin was actually afraid to grow his $120 million a year business because he was afraid he was going to make a mistake that would cost him millions. I quickly got him unstuck and well on his way to doubling the business. Another example, Jessica, she was making 10K a month, but she was stressed out, overwhelmed, overworked, close to burnout, and she was actually kind of hating her business. She quickly scaled to 25K a month while actually working less and having more fun in the business. And I do it through my Warrior Shaman system. If you'd like to learn more about how this system can help you achieve your goals, like I mentioned, with more freedom, fun, and just less grind, less hustle, there's a link below where you can learn more. Now let's get back to the episode. Yeah,
Much faster.
yeah.
Most agents won't do that because it reduces your commission to only 3%
Hmm.
and only if they pay that extra. But I would rather take money out of my pocket and put it into my client's pocket and into their future rather than line my pockets. I'd rather have the benefit go to the client. I'm very
Yep,
people motivated. I'm not money motivated. So throughout the course of her life, that she'll put in $300,000 all the way up to age 65. And that $300,000 turns into 4.1 million,
that's
all tax
incredible.
free.
Hmm.
Isn't that's phenomenal, right? And I want to point out she was single. She wasn't married. She didn't have kids. This
Hmm.
was her self-made pension plan, if you will.
And she's in the 30s, right?
She was 28.
28.
Yep.
So I think we can find, I think we just found the title for this interview, How to Turn $300,000 into 4.8 million in your
4.1.
30s,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
4.1,
right.
something
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
Or I think it works for your 30s as well, as long as you live, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's the time value of money, and you get to see all of that. In fact, I was talking to my niece and nephew yesterday. They're just in their early 20s. And I was like, now's the time for you guys to start doing it.
Yeah.
Because even if you do it with less money, but you start sooner, you will end up with more money than somebody who puts more into it, but later in life.
Yeah. That
So
is so
it's,
cool. Yeah, there's so many like these tiny rules that you have no idea about.
yeah,
Like for example, this lady in Romania made a video about mortgages, and funny enough, like it's interesting like as a Romanian hearing this word because like the word for dead in Romanian is mort, and that's like and
more.
you have mortgages.
Oh, right. Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
so it's funny, but she was saying something that most people have no idea about. But if you go to the bank and say, hey, I want to make this small adjustment in my contract that I can pay you guys forward for the mortgage, you actually finish your mortgage payment. If you do it for 30 years, you finish it in like 15 or 20 years or something like that. You reduce it by. maybe you can talk more on that because I'm sure you know more about this thing.
Well, there's different ways to do it. There's ways to have make a payment twice a month. So you pay half your mortgage twice a month. And
Hmm.
that way, each year you end up making 13 mortgage payments instead of 12.
Yeah,
And
that's
that can
it.
help.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's exactly
yeah,
what she was talking about. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yep. But the system that I have in place will get you, well, I'll tell you what it did for me. So I don't recommend anything that I don't personally use,
Right.
right? So, and everybody thinks they have the best thing since sliced bread, right? So I had to put it to the test. And I put in like a worst case scenario. I reduced our income by a third, maybe even more than that, because if COVID happens or life happens, I
Right.
wanted to know what's the worst case scenario, not the best. And we refied our mortgage back in 20, I guess it was about 2 years ago or so, and to 2.75% interest. Well, we have money in a money market account earning 4.5% interest.
Hmm.
So in my accounting brain, I didn't understand why would I use money making 4.5% to pay off money costing me 2.75. That just didn't make
Right.
sense.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I ran our own, it's a personal savings report. And rather than pay our house off in 28 years, we would pay it off in 10 and a half. And
Hmm.
for those other 17 and a half years, if we put that mortgage payment into the money market account, earning 4.5%,
Right.
we would accumulate over $2.2 million.
Hmm.
So that's the saving. That's something you can work with. You know, our retirement was already good, but now we can be frivolous. Like
Right.
we can spend money like it's water if we want to. So that is a huge, huge savings. And we would save $81,000 on our mortgage just in
Hmm.
interest alone, even
Interesting.
at that low interest rate, $81,000.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So, what would you say to somebody, who is paying their mortgage for like, let's say it's been 5 years already that they're paying their mortgage, they're showing up on time with their bills, with their payments. What is the first thing that they need to do to kind of reduce that to, like you said, to a third of the time period to finish paying it?
Well, I would highly recommend that they meet with me so I can show them how much they could save. What
Hmm.
this is it's like a financial GPS, imagine.
Right.
So if you're going to take a trip, you don't go buy a paper map, right? You tell your GPS, this is where I want to go. And your GPS has like a 30,000-foot view, if you will. And it
Hmm.
knows where the road construction is, it knows where
Right.
the traffic jam is. And it's going to route you around there so you get there in the most efficient way possible.
Hmm.
So this is like a financial GPS.
Right.
And each month it's going to tell you what to pay, how much to pay, what accounts to transfer funds to, and it's going to get you, and it has like, imagine like a 30-year view, right? And it's going to tell you the most efficient and effective way to get you debt free. And
Hmm.
it's not debt settlement, it's not the snowball method, it's not the avalanche method, it's none of that. It simply has, well, it's got 4.5 million lines of code. I don't know if anybody cares, and it uses
Right.
factorial math. So every financial transaction that you do, it's adjusting all the way so that you're still getting to your goal of being debt free in the fastest way possible. And I tried to accomplish the same thing to see if I could get our mortgage to save 81,000 on my own using an amortization schedule, and
Hmm.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I messed around with it for a while, and I was just
Right.
like, how did this system figure that out? But it does. That's what it does. So it takes our thinking and magnifies it a million times. You know what I mean? It's something we wouldn't be able to do on our own.
So is this like a software or something that you use
Yes.
to? Mhm.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Interesting. You know, what you're describing, like this GPS that has the bigger picture. Funny enough, I just uploaded a video of me coaching my client on connecting with her higher self and getting guidance in business. And she's
Hmm.
been doing that brilliantly, like added another number to her bottom line just by, feeling into her intuition. And what you're describing is exactly that because like the higher self, and probably you're probably aware of this, right? It has the bigger picture and says turn left, even when you're
Hmm.
stubborn and you're trying to turn right,
Right.
right? And what's coming for me is that, our higher self has many different facets to it. And sometimes it's just about connecting with, having somebody who can be your higher self in that aspect of finance or that aspect of um, business.
This is like having a companion that's absolutely beyond brilliant, that's guiding you each step of the way.
Right.
So why wouldn't you want to have it? And it
Exactly.
only has your best interest at heart, right? To get you out of debt. And then, of course, if you know, going back to nutrition for just a minute, I believe that every health issue, the root of it is stress because disease simply means to be not at ease in your
Right.
body, right? So, and I was listening to actually one of your podcasts where stress causes over $300 billion annually in loss to companies.
Yeah. Pamela,
So,
Pamela Wagner.
yes, yes. So if we can get people debt free and get rid of that stress in their life, and now they have the money to not only build wealth for their future, like I said, we would save $2.2 million,
Hmm.
but now you can be more charitable. You're more confident. You're more kind.
Yep.
So the benefit to humanity as a whole is a very positive
Yeah,
benefit
it's
as well.
it's definitely compounding. It's definitely an exponential curve to that as
Yes.
well. Um,
Yes.
why would you say like what would you say is the main reason why people are reluctant to hire a financial advisor?
You know what's funny? I read a statistic that people would rather have a root canal than talk to a financial professional. Isn't that horrible? But, and people don't like to talk about money. You know what I mean? They're very guarded. They want to keep, they
Yeah.
don't feel like they've done enough or they coulda, shoulda, woulda, or whatever. So I always tell my clients, I'm a no judgment zone, whether, you make the best decisions that you can at the time.
Hmm.
Nobody goes out and says, I'm going to make a bad financial decision today. I'm going to put my money into a company that's going to go belly up today. We all just make our decisions based on what we know.
Right.
So, but what I can come and do is take all those decisions and turn them for good. And my clients love me. I mean, literally, when we get off the phone, it'd be like, I love you. Oh, I love you too. Not to any married men clients, that would be extremely inappropriate. But we become, I try to make it fun and engaging, and I'm as transparent as I want my clients to be.
Right.
So there's nothing that anybody has done that's going to shock me, or I'm never going to point a finger at you and go, what were you thinking, or anything like that. It's my job to, you can't go back and make a brand new start, but we can start from today and make a brand new end.
Yeah, and this idea of feeling comfortable talking about money, it's a very weird one. The most like
Yeah.
everybody wants to be successful, right?
Hmm.
Just like you said, nobody wakes up in the morning thinking, I want to invest in a company that will fail. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, I hope I fail today, right? Everybody wants to be
Yes.
successful. But the most successful people that everybody looks up to or whatever, they're famous for their success. They feel comfortable talking about money. That's their language. I just had a conversation with a client who's like exceptional at systems and team development. And I pointed out something, hey, maybe it's useful to talk with your prospects about the fact that yes, systems and teams and leadership, that's great, but you're going to increase their bottom line because that's exactly what they care about, right?
Yes.
And you're like,
Yes.
what, you're right. I should start with that. What
Hmm.
will probably help, right?
Yes. Yes. Oh, and the added benefit is,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly, right? So I think, kind of letting go of this programming that we all had of this money is an evil world, money is the root of all evil. I think that's the first step. And I think it's just like you said, it's not money is the root of all evil. It's lack of money,
Well, it's
scarcity.
actually, yeah, the love of money is the root of all evil. Money is not in itself good or evil. It's what
Right.
you do with it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But some people, if they've done well, they're a little less guarded. But I think it's also, even when it comes to life insurance, people don't want to think about death. But, all the actuarial bean counters at the life insurance companies did a big study and they found out that we all die. So,
No way. How
but
much
you know
money
what
did they
gets,
spend on
yeah,
that
right.
study?
But you know what gets me is here, um, if you buy a home, you have to have mortgage insurance in case your house burns down. If you drive a car, you're legally required to have car insurance in case you get in a car accident. Those are things that might happen, but we all know we're going to die. So why isn't everyone required to have life insurance? That makes no sense to me.
Hmm.
And as we talked about a different day when we were talking, I said, if everyone had life insurance, you could end poverty in one generation,
Hmm.
provided that they were educated with what to do with that money, right?
Right.
That they
Hmm.
use it wisely. They don't just burn through it in Vegas over a weekend or something. But you actually could do that. And just think of what that would do for a nation.
Hmm. Do you generally work with clients only in the US or could it work
I actually have
worldwide?
clients abroad. I have a client in Israel, as a matter of fact.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it just depends what they want to do.
Hmm.
Because some companies that I work with are global, so it doesn't matter what company or what country you live in. There are other companies that are more limited where they will only insure people in the US, but there are a number of other companies. It depends also on what country you're in,
Hmm.
because if you're in a country that's high risk, a lot of crime, war,
Right.
the insurance company is not going to want to underwrite you.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it depends where you are. But yeah, it
Yeah.
can be done. Why you want to
Interesting.
meet? What
Sure.
can I do for you?
But it's interesting that, you're working with this company or with this client in Israel and they're having a bit of chaos over there currently.
Yes, yes. Well, we haven't gone into the underwriting process yet, but I was very, very concerned about her and her family because of what happened on October 7th and what continues to happen.
Hmm.
But where she is, they're all okay. They're all okay,
That's good.
which I
I'm
was
happy.
very happy to hear. Yeah.
Beautiful. So I know you have an upcoming event, right, where it's literally called giving the middle finger to debt. Can you give us a bit of a teaser of what's going to happen during that event?
Sure. It's called Debt is a four-letter word. Isn't it time you gave it the finger? And see, it makes everybody smile or laugh out loud. I just love that title. I'm going to have to do it again. But we will be talking about ways to get out of debt, um, because you want to present and why everyone is in debt. Americans are $1.3 trillion in credit card debt,
Hmm.
$15.7 trillion in household debt. And I want to show them a way. Here's a rescue line. Here's a way to get out of it, where you can get out from that weight, that burden that weighs on you, that
Right.
underlying stress that debt causes. And unfortunately, I can't blame a lot of people because due to our inflation here, it costs the average family $11,400 more per year just to live, not to
Yep.
do anything extra because of inflation and the rising cost of food. It's Memorial Day weekend here, and to have a Memorial Day cookout, it's going to cost 10% more than it did last year.
Yeah.
So where do you get that extra money? Do you get a side hustle? Do you get another job? Do you work as much overtime as you can? How do you achieve that gap? How do you shore up that gap? So we're going to talk about the way to get you out of that and improve your life and your finances and take that interest that you're paying on that debt and turn it into savings and wealth to build on your future.
What would it be is I imagine you're gonna have a lot of different people with very different situations in that
Yes.
event, right?
Yeah.
So is there like a step-by-step process, or is it like maybe a first step that you could maybe tease towards that? Or just to gain a bit more clarity in terms of people who are interested in attending.
Sure. So, well, first of all, it's going to be fun. It's not going to be like having a root canal. We're going to talk about money, but I promise you that we're going to laugh and have a good time.
Mm.
And the goal is to have people want to set a one-on-one with me so we can look at their finances.
Right.
And then they would fill out, it's just a one-page form where they list their income and their expenses. And then I would run a personal savings report for them to see what their future could look like.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
guarantee it's going to be, it just depends. The thing that's great about this system is it works if you have as little as $100 a month left over. So you
Mm.
don't have to be making six figures, seven figures
Right.
for this to work. You can be an average everyday family, and it's just going to have a phenomenal effect on your life and what your life could look like now.
I love
Because
it.
if people are in debt, they're not thinking 15, 20 years down the road about creating their future or what am I going to do in retirement or what have you. And this frees up all of those interest payments that you're making so that you can create that future that you desire.
That's excellent. So it's kind of like a meet and greet, right? They get a sense of who you are, what you do, and if they want more, they would have to book a one-on-one session with you to get like really specific, like a
Yes.
specific action plan because
For their
it's
own
not a,
particular, yes, yes.
yeah, I,
So I'm going to share my report, what I ran, so that people can see
mm-hmm.
it in black and white. Like, here's the proof. I'm not
Excellent.
full of hot air. Here's my actual story and be transparent, as I said. And, we'll look at other ways that you could do this, but this is really the best way. You don't want
Mm-hmm.
to experiment. A lot of people don't have time to experiment and try this for 5 years and that for 5 years. And next thing you know, you're in your 50s and you don't have anything saved up or
Yeah,
waiting for you so that you can have those golden years, if you will. Um, so this is it'll be very informative. It'll be fun. It'll be interactive. It's this Wednesday at noon Pacific. So if people want to come, they can go on my website, the Financial Lion, Lyon,
I'll
thefinanciallion.com.
link
And right on the homepage is a register button.
I'll link it I'll definitely link it below in the description. But I think you should run this it should be something evergreen. Granted, of course, I'm sure spots are limited for this one. So guys, absolutely check it out. But the branding for this event I absolutely love and I think it could definitely be a thing.
Yeah, I think it will be a thing.
Love it.
And yeah, I think I might do it once, maybe once every month or something for those who couldn't come the first time. And it'll be different every time. I think I might keep the title because I just love
Yeah,
that.
title is awesome. Yeah.
I love that title. So that can be a brand in and of itself is the title. And then have it maybe on a monthly basis for those who couldn't come, or maybe even they came and they know somebody else that needs to come or that could benefit from the information and the system itself and change their lives for the better. So
I love
yeah,
it. I love it.
it'll be great. It'll be really good.
Awesome. Guys, absolutely check out the links below and connect with Wendy on social media. And that's probably the best way for you. If you're listening to this and it's maybe a bit later on than when we publish this episode the first time and you still want to join the event, connect with Wendy on social media, ask her when she's doing her next event. And yeah, let's give the finger to that and level
Yes,
up our financial
absolutely.
IQ. right?
Yes, yes. Well, I think I'm going to try to do it the last Wednesday of every month. So if somebody does listen to it and it's later, just go to the financiallion.com as well and look for, the new Zoom link for the webinar.
Beautiful,
But as I said,
beautiful.
it'll be good. It'll be good.
Awesome. Wendy, thank you so
You're
much
going to leave
for,
empowered knowing that you too can give debt the finger.
there we go. And then version 2.0, give it two fingers.
Yes. Two hands.
Again, yeah, beautiful. Wendy, thanks so
Yeah.
much for joining me in this conversation. I really enjoyed it and hope to see you again as a guest.
Oh, yes. I would love that. I would really enjoy that. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you and all that you do.
Beautiful. That's right back at you. What's the phrase? Right. Beautiful. Hey, hope you enjoyed this episode. And you know what? Something that's really, really frustrating for me is this thing that I keep hearing both from clients, both from people who regularly check out the content. They usually say, hey, I don't understand why this content is not getting hundreds of thousands, millions of views, downloads, because it's so freaking good. And I gotta be honest, instead of feeling happy about it, elated, I do feel kind of frustrated. I mean, like, why isn't it getting out there a lot more? So, you know what? If you'd like to help out with this goal, the best thing you can do if you're watching the video right now is give it a like, maybe share it with a friend, or if you're listening to the podcast and you're enjoying this show, giving the podcast a rating either on Apple Podcasts or wherever you are listening to your podcasts is a tremendous help. And if you do help out, I just want you to know that I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.